The candidates are now gathering on the podium here. They're going through the final figures. It looks very much as though Russell Johnson has held it. We're waiting for Ronald Stevenson, the returning officer, to come to the microphone, and it looks as though here it is.
We'll get cued in.
Russell Johnson wearing the Johnson tartan. Ronald Stevenson, the shortish man in the middle of the group at the moment, about to come forward. The hall falling quiet, and he's away.
As returning officer of the Inverness, Nairn and Lochaber constituency, I hereby give notice that the total number of votes polled for each candidate in the election was as follows. Russell Johnston, Liberal SDP Alliance, 20,671.
He'll be pleased with that, and he knows it's a winning total.
David John McLean, the Conservative Party candidate, 13,373.
Now, we think he's come second, so that's 7,000.
Duncan Macmillan, the Labour Party candidate, 6,448.
And we don't think there's much chance that the SNP have done much better.
Hamish William Vernal, Scottish National Party, 4,395.
Russell Johnson's done it, back with an increased majority, despite his beloved Skye going to the Ross Committee and constituency.
Been elected to serve in Parliament as a member for the said constituency. The percentage poll was 69.95.
The leader of the Scottish Liberals steps towards the microphone to make his victory speech. A popular man here.
Mr. Returning Officer and ladies and gentlemen, it falls upon me to thank you and all those who yesterday supervised the casting of the votes in the halls and schools all over this large constituency, and all those who today
already there's an air of excitement because of those last
the
two
Deputy Returning Officer of the Caithness
results.
and Sutherland constituency hereby give notice that the total number of votes polled for each candidate in the parliamentary election on 9th June 1983 was as follows. Danny Carrigan, the Labour Party candidate, 3,325. James Ingram, Scottish National Party, 2,568. Robert Adam Ross McLennan, SDP Liberal Alliance candidate, 12,119. Alistair McNeill Schooler, Conservative, 5,276. And that Robert Adam Ross McLennan has been duly elected to serve in Parliament as a member for the said constituency.
As you can hear, there is great delight. Bob McLennan has been returned as the SPP candidate for Caithness and Sutherland. His vote was 12,119. For the Conservative, 5,276. For Labour, we go over now.
All the candidates in this election, may I express our gratitude with which you have conducted this election, to your counters here, to your polling agents, to the police, and all who have helped to ensure that our democracy has worked smoothly in this election. A very warm thank you. This election marks for the Social Democrats and Liberals in alliance culmination of 2 years of historic achievement. It is remarkable that in such a short time we have come so far, that we have succeeded in uniting so many people in recognition.
Going straight to Penrith and the border for William Whitelaw's result. The traditional Conservative colour in the Lonsdale country is yellow. Not curious yellow, it's just traditional yellow, and Mr. Whitelaw can be identified by wearing it. Not that anybody could fail to identify Mr. Whitelaw as he waits for the returning officer. Well, we've had these results up in the north of Scotland in big constituencies, Caithness and Sutherland, Inverness, Nairn and Lochaber. Mr. Whitelaw represents the biggest geographical constituency in England and Wales. And hard work it has been for all those in such constituencies over the past 3 or 4 weeks. In those parts of the country, rural parts of the country, they do tend to vote for the man, and therefore one's not surprised. And here it is now, Mr. Whitelaw's result.
Whitelaw William Stephen Ian, 29,304. Williams Lindsay, 6,612. Young Michael Allen, 13,883. And I declare William Whitelaw duly elected.
May I start by thanking you, Mr. Returning Officer, and all your staff for the way you have conducted this count and the election. May I thank all those people at the polling stations, many of them in taking very small numbers of votes in some villages, staying there for a very long time yesterday. May I also thank all those concerned with the election, the police, everyone else. May I now turn and thank my two opponents. I have read in the press, no doubt you have, people have described it as a dirty election. I think that we could say, in Penrith and the border, it has been utterly the reverse of that. I have now fought 9 elections here. All of them I have had good personal relations with my opponents, and so it has been in this election, and I thank them both very much for it. May I now thank all those people who have worked for me, all my organization, who put up with me being away a great deal, and have worked extremely hard to produce what has been a very good result indeed for us. If I was to comment on the national scene, it would be simply to say that, of course, this has been a very great day for our Conservative Party, a very great day for the Prime Minister. But, of course, with success goes something else. With success goes humility and responsibility. And now, we as a Conservative Party will have the duty of governing this country in difficult times for the whole nation. And it is always well to remember at moments of success that humility is one of the greatest qualities of all. Thank you all very much indeed.
Deputy Prime Minister's seat at Penrith and the border. The Conservative polled 59% of the vote, the Liberal 28%, Labour 13%. The change in the share since the general election of 1979, Conservative down 1.5%, the Liberal up 9.7%, Labour down 8.1%. But far more interesting are those 2 Scottish results at Inverness and at Caithness and Sutherland. The Inverness result first, where Russell Johnson held the seat for the Liberals. This was the share of the poll there: Liberal 46%, Conservative 30%, Labour 14%, SNP 10%. And the change in the share of the vote tells the story. Russell Johnson increasing his share of the poll by 17.2%, quite a remarkable result. Conservative up 3.3%, Labour down 6.6%, and the Scottish National Party, in a part of Scotland which is really their speciality, down 13.8%. Not been a very good election for them at all. And at Caithness and Sutherland, the result, where Robert McLennan held the seat for the SDP. Even more remarkable, really. Here's the share of the poll: SDP 52%, Conservative 23%, Labour 14%, SNP 11%, and the change since 1979, SDP up 52% because the Liberal didn't stand in 1979. So that came from nothing, although there was the base of a 22% vote for the Liberals in 1974 to build on. The Conservatives down 8.1%, Labour down a crashing 27%, so a large proportion of his old supporters coming over to him under his new colours, and the SNP down 17%. So let's have a look at the state of the parties now, with 599 results in. Conservatives 370, Labour 204, the Alliance 21, and our forecast for an overall majority.
Well, we leave Alistair Burnett and Peter Sissons and the national picture for the time being to bring you all the regional election news. So hello from the Thames area. For the Conservatives today, jubilation at strengthening their grip on London and the South East. For Labour, the post-mortem, where and why did it all go wrong. For the SDP defectors, despair as they're almost all wiped out. And for the Alliance as a whole, the agony of ending up with only 2 seats in London, but the ecstasy of getting more votes overall than Labour. Our calculations, based on the number of votes cast so far throughout the Thames area, shows that more than 2.75 million people voted for Tory candidates. That's around 49%. Just over 1.5 million for the Liberal and SDP candidates, a shade over 26%, and a little under 1.5 million for Labour, that's around 25%. Convert that to seats, though. The Tories have got 104, and that's likely to rise by 1 more today. Labour have got 26, and the Alliance have got 2. That means it takes around 27,000 voters to elect a Conservative, 56,000 to elect a Labour MP, and more than 758,000 to get a Liberal or SDP candidate to Parliament. Enough to hold Bermondsey, but not enough to keep Croydon Northwest or win Richmond, the glittering prize that slipped away after 2 recounts and by 74 votes, one of the smallest majorities in the country.
Richmond was the London prize the Alliance wanted most of all, and the recent boundary changes had added another ward of potential supporters. The narrow margin of defeat was a cruel blow to ex-television man Alan Watson.
And the result has been determined here by 74 votes on 2 or 3 recounts. And I do think that that sort of result, and the result that's now becoming clear nationwide, must put into question now the efficacy and indeed the morality even of the electoral system.
As we said, the Tory landslide has given them 104 seats in the South East. Labour have 26 and the Alliance just 2. That leaves only 1 seat to declare, and that result is expected shortly. The swing to the Tories in the region was 4.7%, gaining them 13 seats. The Alliance gained 2 and Labour none at all. It was, of course, the swing away from Labour